So it's officially out. Paige Shivers is named as the staff member that Moore had an affair with. Here is his wife, and he also has 3 kids not pictured. Now, I actually went to school for journalism, so let's just get into the facts before all the commentary. Shivers is the executive assistant to Moore and the daughter of a veteran Chicago Bears scout. She is 24 years old, recent graduate, and she has a rare disease that disables the heart. In my mind, I'm like, was she like, YOLO, I got a disease, I'm not gonna live that long anyway? But let me stop, let me get back to the facts. She knew he was married, obviously, he's an assistant, but she also followed his wife on social media. She also received a big pay boost, and that was a slight flag for the organization. And the crazy part is she's the one that gave the organization the receipts, the emails, the text messages. Now, why?
And there you go. So as we see, my man, hours after being fired, he's taken into custody. We're going to mind through this. We're going to slow walk it. All right. But his assistant, it took him down. Kudakata. That's dangerous, man. I mean,
gotta listen here, man. As I believe and I live by, shout out to Kevin Samuels when it comes to meat discipline. As married men, you got to get your ego fixed a different way. Get a boost and turning down Kudakata, huh? Say, I turned down a lot of Kudakata. Let that boost your ego, but because you can't keep going out like this. You can't keep taking every raw cat that's made available to you. Can't do it.
Especially working so closely. Like you said, having so much power as he does, and then working so closely with women like that, it can be easily, I would say, more men abuse it than we would imagine. They just don't get caught, obviously. But, man, you got to be most careful. You sitting there, you keep promoting her up the ranks so she can get closer to you and to the point where she's officially your assistant, and y'all at the hip every day, and everybody pretty much know y'all clapping cheeks, but it was a deal.
Got to be some kind of trauma bond. I guess she had a heart condition or has one. I see how it happened, but definitely unexcusable. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But what you got, Ebony?
Yeah, I didn't hear about the heart condition and that is unfortunate. I'm sure he, did take a liking into her or whatever. But men, you have to be careful with dealing with women like this because they know at any time they can flip the script, and you have to understand what their real intentions are. And it's not that this woman, she looks like she could be like his daughter's age or something. She looks very young, very impressionable, whatever. You definitely didn't think twice about this whole situation. And they're making a big fiasco about it online. Like I was seeing, like, Black women were like, "Oh, this isn't our fight," or whatever. It's actually not any of our fights because he's made the choices that he made or whatever. But then we kind of dug a little deeper into his background and stuff and learned that he's actually not even from here. So the crashing out and stuff, we, normally, I don't want to be mean or anything, but white women, they come a dime a dozen, and they are all over brothers all the time. So it's not like he couldn't have figured out, something with another one. So the fact that he's crashing out over her, it's just kind of giving that he's not really from here. And maybe this was like one of his first experiences with dealing with these type of women or something. I don't know.
I agree. I seen like I said, we're going to get into it. I seen the other footage of him. He seems like a more laid back guy. I guess he's like an offensive line coach, different kind of guy. So, he ain't your typical, what you think of a black guy in football, you thinking, a jock, somebody that was doing it. But he's like the other side of things that people don't talk about. Everybody on the team ain't, listening to Lil Uzi Vert or whatever. It'd be a young boy and all that. There's the other side of the team.
There you go. Yeah, that college atmosphere is his own little ecosystem. I hear what you're saying, Sis Ebony Dean. Like, he may not be exposed to this kind of carrying on. That college environment is different, and I could see them older coaches, You know what I mean? I remember seeing some of those coaches' struggles in real life. I never seen anything, or there was never any scandal. Let me be clear, when I was in school. However, coaches talked, or you seen it where the track coach or something like that. No specifics, but you track coach and you got these women athletes and they hitting on you and they in the best shape ever. And yeah, it'd be tough. It'd be tough out there for them coaches.
Yeah, and just depending on where he grew, I don't know when he got to the country or whatever, but sometimes, like, when you're young and when you're an athlete, like I know my son is experiencing it now. He's young, but the YT women or whatever are on the athletes. They're all about the athletes in high school and in college. And so if you are from around here, you kind of get that experience early on and you kind of know how to deal with it and you're kind of used to it or whatever. So, but if you're kind of coming in late in the game or you're from somewhere else where you didn't really experience that, that can kind of cause the type of crash out that we're seeing now is what I'm saying. So
I agree. And this is not the first time we have seen this, people.
On September 22nd, 2022, Ime Udoka was suspended by the Boston Celtics for the entire 2022-2023 NBA season after violating team policies. Now, it's important to know the year right before this, he took his team to the NBA Finals, and at the time, he was one of the most popular coaches in the league. But as you know, he got fired. He would eventually get hired by the Houston Rockets, and he would actually address these claims.
As you reflect on what happened in Boston, do you feel like the Celtics were justified in the actions that they took against you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my part in it was to take ownership and accountability for my part. They had a choice to make a decision, and they went that route. And my thing was own up to it, take responsibility, and I served the suspension and had to own it, honestly. So same thing I'll preach to the guys. I can't sit here and not take accountability myself. So it was their right to go about it however they wanted to, and that's the choice they took.
Later on in 2023, another black coach by the name of Mel Tucker, who was on a 10-year, $95 million contract with the Michigan State Spartans. Well,
Michigan State fired head coach Mel Tucker today for inappropriate conduct. Tucker was accused of sexual harassment during a phone call with a prominent driver and activist that he had hired to speak to his team. The university terminating what's left of the 10-year, $95 million contract that Tucker signed less than 2 years ago.
Now, in the Ime Udoka case, he lost his job over sleeping with the white woman, despite being married to Nia Long. And Mel Tucker, who has a black wife, stop the show. She actually filed for divorce. He lost his job behind the white lady. And you would think that black men would get the hint, right? But then there was a rumor that was coming out earlier this month.
He has a type. He has a type. That's part of the reporting. That's his type. I'm sorry, but it's when I'm up to my fifth woman I've talked to, and they're all between the ages of 25 to 38, 39, and they're all skinny blonde white women. He has a type, and that he's allowed to have a type, but it's certainly unbecoming to be trying to meet up for dinner with various.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah. Have I said too much?
No. Oh no.
Well, let's just say I've seen some of these exchanges personally.
And there we go. So we're gonna stop it for a minute. The net and end of it, Becky and them, they are the most ones involved in college sports in that, whether you're talking about the trainers or whatever. All right. Normally, the sisters ain't getting into that. You ain't gonna see Bonquisha on the sideline, all right, with an 80-inch bust down. That ain't their part. They in the stand somewhere. But normally the ones out there doing the water bottles and all that stuff, rubbing out the cramps, they out there. So, and Kudakata, they got Kudakatas, and it's a lot of testosterone. And you get what you get.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this is my arena. Football and that. Yeah, that's athletic trainer chicks. Them ain't your girlfriend. Them ain't nobody's girlfriend. Respectfully, they belong to the football team. That's what I say. Belong, yeah. What other group of men on campus gonna match that testosterone? As Gavin X said, is just it is what it is. God dang it. But yeah, Bonquisha wasn't ever on the sideline because being an athletic trainer, you dang near going like pre-med dang near. You gotta learn the body anatomy and all that stuff. It ain't nothing you just gonna play with. You got to study and learn. So yeah, you gotta be serious about it.
So what you got, Raquel? These guys were falling victim. A lot of coaches. Like we speaking about the players, but these are coaches, married.
No. He's not falling victim because he is the leader of the football team. He is the head coach. So he He positioned this Kudakata to be right up next to him because he didn't want nobody else smashing his nice little Kudakata on the side. And he's actually from Kansas. He's American born, and he's played college football. He's not a rookie. He is definitely a part of the football atmosphere. Like, so this wasn't his first rodeo.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is that they're finding out that this man is smashing this young white woman or whatever. That's already a red flag for them. They're already feeling a certain kind of way just because he's a black man in the first place. But I didn't know that, or he went to school out here. I know his family's from Trinidad and Tobago, though. So his family's from the Caribbean, but I don't know when he moved here, whatever. He very well could have went to school out here and everything, but his background, yeah, is just a little wonky, because we just kind of know how to move around people, and we just kind of know, we have our history with them, so we just kind of know the way that they move. So,
well, y'all saying he from Kansas, it's more than likely he's always been into white girls all his life. That's what I'm trying to say. People think when we see a black athlete, he automatically from the hood. No, some of these guys, there's a large percentage of them that only like white chicks, especially the linemen, offensive linemen, like he was and stuff.
Yep. He is, I be trying to tell you about that.
Last pick by Bonquisha, he wasn't a receiver or running back. So depending on the position, you can start seeing those guys trend more towards white women.
That I'm told y'all, the offensive linemen are the more passive brothers, and they tend to end up with white women. But the defensive, the star players, the skilled players, they get the pick of the litter: quarterback, running back, wide receivers, and then the monsters on defense, linebackers, linemen, safeties. And it's a pecking order for sure. But lineman period get the last. You got to be a bad lineman to get a top pick.
I think you're channeling your inside voice now, Justin. I think that's what's going on.
Well, I can be a little more informal here, but and it's funny because this is one of the callbacks I'm waiting on. It could be any minute, it could be an hour, I don't know, because Michigan they're well aware. Ward Manuel has had multiple conversations with his team up there, athletic director at University of Michigan today. They're very aware of what's going on. They've known what's going on for years with this guy, that's part of the reporting. If you've known about this stuff, why is this guy even here?
That rumor would actually be true. Come to find out, your boy Sherrone Moore had been sleeping, or at least trying to date, multiple white women, around U of M. And the most important one is this lady, Paige Shiver. Okay. Paige Shiver joined the University of Michigan program in November 2021. She was working as an on-campus recruiting and football operations coordinator on then Jim Harbaugh's staff. All right. She was then promoted to her current role as executive to the head coach in February 2024, shortly after Sherrone Moore took over the University of Michigan program. This is important to know. Sherrone Moore is married to a white woman by the name of Kelly Moore. They have been married since 2015. So yes, he was married. All right. Now, in the case of the other guys, Mel Tucker and Ime Udoka, both of them were in relationships with black women. But in the case of Sherrone Moore, he already had a wife. A white wife. And that's why the last clip said he has his preferences. Well, allegedly, he got this lady pregnant, Paige Shiver. They found out that he was sleeping with her. And then guess what? They fired him. Now, after he was fired, allegedly, he broke into that lady's house and there was some other stuff. I'm not even going to deal with that. I'm not even concerned with it, all right? That's for another day. That's not my point of the video. The idea is this. This man was getting paid $6.1 million a year. The rest of his contract is now voided. He's going to lose that money. Let's look at the reasons that a University of Michigan coach could lose their employment. The university has the right to terminate the employment of the head coach for cause in the event of any of the following. 1, failure of the head coach in material respect to perform the services required of him under this agreement. Conviction of the head coach of any criminal offense involving fraud, conviction of any felony, which he didn't do, all right? Conduct of the head coach which offends against public decency or morality, as shall be determined by standards prevailing in the community, or which results in the reasonable determination of the university could result in material injury to the reputation, interests, or obligations of the university or program.
So here we go. Like I said, misconduct, a lot of stuff. And they was able to fire him, like Raquel's saying. They always going to be looking for that reason to get rid of you and not having to pay you. So it's one thing for them to just fire you, for something that you didn't do, right? For a losing season. Then they got to pay you the rest of your contract, which is the wildest thing in sports, that only the coaches have guaranteed contracts in all sports, but the players in a lot of sports don't, especially football. As we know, NFL, you can write them contracts on a piece of toilet paper. But the coaches always have guaranteed contracts unless you do something goofy. So if they would have fired him for losing too many games, they would have had to pay him the rest of whatever, the 3 years or whatever they owed him, millions of dollars. That's why they would rather keep you than pay you. But some people, they'll fire you and pay you whatever. But when they catch you, now they can void the contract. You done when you read the terms and conditions, you embarrass the university. All right, now we're gonna fire you, and that $13 million I owe you is staying in our pocket.
Yeah, and you owe us a little bit back now, Ninja.
Yeah,
like you said, they don't want you in a position to begin with. Understand the dynamic of sports. They don't mind you playing, running the football, getting all of the fame and notoriety. They don't care. They're gonna give us that. But ownership, actual power, that's one thing I acknowledged, being an athlete, is that you got all these big, strong, warrior-like men and these frail or blowed out, mostly Caucasian men sitting here just ordering us all around. It's just something I noticed. But yeah, they don't want us in positions of leadership because that's where the true power is. You can run the ball, you can have fame, fortune, but we'll take that too.
You think has more shame right now, Sherrone Moore or the girl now that everybody knows was the one that was the quote unquote homewrecker, the one that got pregnant, the one that had an abortion, the one that still probably wants to have a professional life in the sports world? Obviously, we know he's probably going to be done for a little while. Who do you think could possibly feel worse?
Well, he's obviously going to be the one that takes all the fire. She's gonna get hit with some shrapnel from it, but she is just as guilty as he is. I mean, let's be clear on this. I don't care about the power structure. You can say whatever. She was some sort of recruiting position. She knew what she was doing. This is a grown adult. She wasn't forced into anything with him. She made a choice to get with a married man, to have unprotected sex with a married man, to continue that affair with him. And yes, there's a little bit of a disposition and power there, but she deserves whatever she gets fallout from this.
There we go. So two things is true. She's a harlot, right? What is the harlot's accountability? I would say a life of loneliness. All right. She probably will never be fulfilled. Even if she do marry a man, she's going to be serving you black pills. So don't do it. But could she get married? Absolutely. Becky's still in the game, 24.
For sure. Saint an athletic Becky, a black pill serving athletic training Becky get married. They still get married. Why? They still wind up childless and still got some type of fabricated femininity. And they get married. It's wild. I just seen that. It's amazing.
100%.
So that's them. They used to come out the tunnel together. She used to be at the games, walking out the tunnel like she was his wife. All right, they just got done that pregame kiss. All right, babe, good luck today. That pregame kiss, go get him. His wife in the stands with the kids and the mistress. Wow, look at Raquel. Raquel, the mistress, walking out, and the wife and kids gotta watch. Man,
you can't see the little matching little Rolexes they got. Raquel got matching Rolex. You didn't see that charge. That was on a credit card you couldn't see.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out when I stick that forensic accountant on his ass. I'll know then. I'll know everything that was on the credit cards then. But yeah, this is what happens when y'all keep y'all kuda kata real close in the pocket. They dressed alike, all black down. She got her, but check Becky out. She's no different than Bonquisha. She got her 19,000-inch yaki blonde weave hanging down her back. She looked wide as all outside. I mean, she looked fat to me.
Don't be hating. She got her man.
Saying, so if you're into porkers, then let me know and I can eat some more. But his wife seems to be very fit and trim, at home, taking care of the kids, doing what she's supposed to do from the pictures is what I'm looking at. Her hair seems to be real and long. You know, it ain't
That's
as
Becky.
blonde as Becky's, but that's why Becky don't have no hair and got all that weave in her hair because she bleached it out. But what my question to you 304s that do this kind of shit, why follow the wife on social media? Like, what do y'all get out of doing that? You follow the wife to do what?
See
To
your weaknesses.
get more information on the
Yep.
man?
Yeah, get your
Okay.
weaknesses.
That's very strange because obviously whatever castles he's promising you, you're believing it so much so that you would get knocked up by my husband. So that is very strange to me that you guys go and follow the wives, but the wives know. You can't tell me that the wife didn't think that they were already screwing each other. Come on now. Like look at how like this is not
Maybe she
fooling
didn't know.
anybody.
Maybe she didn't know. Maybe she didn't know
Come
that
on.
he hired.
They're the same. Her and her husband look to be about 3 years apart from each other. Now, my husband is a pretty popular guy. He's not a football coach, okay, but just as a pretty popular guy in this little area, like your assistant starts following me on Instagram. Why? That immediately I'm like, oh, she's clocking me. She wants to know what I'm doing because she's so far up his ass. That doesn't get missed on us just because we're running around with the kid, we're doing all of these things for you. That doesn't get missed on me. I'm peeping Becky out.
But that's not protocol. Like if this woman, she's like, well, I'm dealing with your, I'm assistant to your husband. Let's say it wasn't nothing nefarious, and she's like, oh, I'm assistant to your husband.
No.
Let me follow you.
Why would, first of all, if it's not LinkedIn, why are you following my husband on social media? He's your boss. That's number one. Number two, why would you want to follow me as your boss's wife? Like human nature, patterns of behavior are just that. We don't have to know each other to understand a pattern of behavior, right? We're sizing up Bonquishas all night by their tattoos on their chest, by the 50 nose rings they have in their nose. We're sizing them up all night. So we already know.
So I see, and this is why I say men can't cheat. See, I feel
up.
you, Miss. I feel you.
Let me shut up.
Because see, a guy ain't never about to be like, all right, I'm knocking down the head coach. Let me go ahead and start following her husband. You see, that ain't never gonna happen. So you're right. But the women always they gonna come, they gonna blow up your spot, man. So don't do it. They get away with it. Men don't mind being a side piece. Becky, like, I need to be number one.
University of Michigan head football coach went from this to this in one day. Let me tell you what happened. Sherrone Moore has been a part of the University of Michigan football family for a minute. He helped lead them to a national championship. And when head coach Jim Harbaugh left to go coach in the NFL for the Chargers, he took over his spot. So yesterday, the news breaks that Sherrone Moore is fired from being the head coach of Michigan for cause, which means that they don't have to pay him. He signed a 5-year deal with Michigan in 2024 and made over $6 million this year. So that's a big bag he fumbled yesterday. The reason for his firing, he was sleeping with his coworker. And to make matters worse, sorry, let me give you the official text. He was having an inappropriate relationship with a Michigan staffer. To make matters even worse, allegedly the staff member was his executive assistant who had a 55% increase in her salary over the course of 1 year. You see here, it's public information. From 2023 to 2024, she was making $58,000 a year. And then in 2024, 2025, this year, she was making $90,000. This man has been married for a decade with 3 children, daughters, mind you, that are all under the age of 10 years old. And his last daughter was born last summer. I turned on ESPN this morning. I'm not saying it's the most reliable source in the world, but I wanted to hear what their lead reporters had to say. And they said that Michigan knew about this months ago. They had HR investigate and they couldn't find any evidence that he was sleeping with a coworker, right? Now some damning evidence came into the fold where they had to fire him. Now this part is alleged.
Let me say this. All right. What's that? 58. Well, first of all, the money's coming from the university. All right. The wife is still winning. The wife get the whole $6 million. She get the whole $6 million. This woman, she get her money from the students and the taxpayers. That's all. Nothing going on. What you got, Ebony? What's your take?
I mean, I'm just listening to it all. And I mean, I don't feel bad for anybody. I feel like, well, except for the wife, but at the end of the day, um, they're both at fault. They're equally as at fault. I don't care if he was a staff at the school or not. She's still an adult. She still knew what she was doing was wrong. She knew when she went to go follow that lady that what she was doing with her husband or whatever. She knew exactly what she's doing. And it will just behoove women in general, if you're in marriages and relationships and all that, you need to be clocking everybody that's around your man, especially while at work. Like if he's, bringing little food or whatever, you just have to listen to the conversations and be very aware of what is going on. And I know that that lady is young and everything, but men, and I'm just saying in general, tighten up, man. If you're going to be moving around all wonky like this, like you're going to fumble a bag. Like I said before, I don't think his people are from here or whatever. He may not have known the situation, but when you're in a position like this, I'm just saying in general, they are going to do whatever to have you fall. I don't know if this was a plan. I don't know what it was, but you need to be on your square at all times when you're dealing with people. And like date whoever you want to. I don't care if they're black, white, whatever, but you need to realize and understand what you're up against when you're dealing with people. And all the things that you could lose being in marriages, and you have kids and everything, and you're crashing out and doing all this stuff. Like, just tighten up, man. Like this, none of this is cool. And just know who you're dealing with at the end of the day.
And I would say we got to talk about the human element. Like you said, he's still a man. At the end of the day, he is a man, and his flesh is flesh, his blood is blood. Rest in peace, DMX. All right. I don't know. It couldn't be me. You can't be that working that closely with a young 24, a woman you're attracted to. Just can't do it because we are human. You can't be working that closely together every day. She bringing you coffee. Y'all in the same room a lot of times, sitting at, too much going on. Yeah, that's just good luck.
Yeah. And
I always say, I've said it before, like when it comes to keeping these relationships tight, we all got to do our part in this thing. So men are logical. I done keep telling y'all, a desirable man can't keep going to work and keep turning down Kudakata, no daggone well, the last time he got some, he can't even recall. Let's come on. That's a real thing. This is biblical. When we get together, my body is hers, her body is mine. That's written in the scriptures. Hey, bring that Kudakata here, girl. And that way, so when she keep trying to slang that raw cat, you're like, you know what? I just had a whole deal last night. I'm tired. I don't even want it. So, but if you like,
I would say on paper that sound good on paper, but like I said, we human. I'm gonna take the human element in. I'm talking about this situation. Now you're talking about just working in general. Y'all work at Amazon or something, but you're talking about somebody you're assisted. Y'all are in closed rooms together more times than not. All right. And she hitting on you good, luck.
Yeah, and it definitely isn't the first time. And I think the only special situation with this whole case is because she has a heart condition. Other than that, both the wife and the Becky, the assistant, whatever, they're both basic. There's nothing special about whatever they got going on. Because I heard people online are like, oh, the Beckys are winning and all this stuff. That's not what it is. It's just basic. And I do believe maybe he had kind of a heart for her heart condition or whatever, and maybe did try to look out and probably took things too far, and it is what it is. But like I said, men, you need to tighten up and with your households and everything, and you just cannot be moving out here like this. Like, this is not good at all.
Yeah, I think he was thinking with his lower nature. He was around a young woman he was attracted to, and she was throwing herself at him for years. This just didn't happen in like 2 days. This was going on for years and years and years. It was only a matter of time.
It's a tough deal. Yeah, it's a tough deal. Yeah, I don't. Is this the equivalent to pro athletes. There you go. We got there's always a category here. This ain't something unique. These coaches on these big stages, the equivalent to a star athlete, they get paid the same. They got the same gravitas. They getting the same coup de grace thrown at them. There we go.
On ESPN this morning, I'm not saying it's the most reliable source in the world, but I wanted to hear what their lead reporters had to say. And they said that Michigan knew about this months ago. They had HR investigate and they couldn't find any evidence that he was sleeping with a coworker, right? Now some damning evidence came into the fold where they had to fire him. Now this part is alleged. I got this from the internet, but it makes sense to me. Allegedly, he impregnated his executive assistant. And I don't know how true this part is, but allegedly he forced her into an abortion and maybe that's what led him to double her salary. That's all speculation. Now, apparently, when he found out that there was a coaches only meeting happening without him, which means he was about to get fired, he had an argument with his wife where he threatened to hurt himself permanently. You're picking up what I'm putting down. I don't want my video to get taken down. Left his house, went to an unnamed staffer's house, wonder who that was, and put a knife to his own throat, and then went to a local church where he was found because his wife gave his location, like I assume his Find My Friends or whatever, to the authorities. People have been going through his Instagram following, and he follows a lot of questionable, baddie type of accounts. Accounts that a man who is married with 3 young daughters should not be following. And to make matters worse, the woman that he allegedly cheated on his wife with, his wife is a blonde white woman, is also a blonde white woman that looks a little similar to her, to me. Now Michigan's got a huge problem on their hands because they've got to keep their really good players that are committed to come to Michigan and that are already at Michigan wanting to stay there amidst all this drama. A lot of people think the only way Michigan can save themselves is by stealing Alabama's coach, Kalen DeBoer, who's about to play in the playoffs with Alabama. And on top of that, a lot of people know that Lane Kiffin would have loved to go coach at Alabama, and he's constantly coach hopping, and he abandoned his team while they're going to play in the playoffs to go coach LSU. So, is it possible that Lane Kiffin does the funniest thing ever and abandons the team that he abandoned his last team that's playing in the playoffs currently for, before he ever even coaches a game for them, to take Kalen DeBoer's job because Michigan needs a really big name like Kalen DeBoer to come save their asses because this guy was allegedly sleeping with his assistant, forced her to get an abortion, and now went to jail. And now Michigan looks really bad and they need to hold on to all of their really good recruits and players. What the fuck?
I can imagine 6-7 months ago, I went through something very similar. So I know what that storm is like. Yes, and unless you've been in it, that's why when people say, this is what I would do, you don't know what you would do until you in it.
Huh. Oh boy. Who else can speak on it besides Uncle Shay Shay? Uncle Shay Shay said, y'all get out the way. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. Unless you ever been in some white coup de grace and had to pay millions for that coup de grace, then shut the hell up. I'm the only one who paid $50 million for some coup de grace. Let me speak on this. I know what it's like.
Say y'all always saying what y'all gonna do. Y'all ain't never been sitting there with, off of these blue, purple, and orange pills and them soft, buttery angel food cake cheeks is in front of you. Y'all say what y'all gonna do. Y'all don't know. Why that one commentator kept saying these coaches abandoning, these players. Shout out to my old lineman coach, Mike Jacobs, just became the head coach of Toledo. Yeah, god dang. Shout out to my old coach. Yeah, coach, don't fall victim to this madness. Don't listen to Shay Shay. All right, you good.
Until you're in that pressure cooker, until you in the eye of the storm.
Yes,
until you in Ocho, you and I have had a conversation. So
yes,
I know. Mm-hmm. To be in that storm, and to know everybody know everything that you worked your entire life for. Mm-hmm. You feel it like it's crumbling right before your eyes.
Gone.
Yeah. And the only people that's gonna be there, it's gonna be a select few. It's gonna be a select few. That's the hardest part. Everybody look. It's kind of look, and I understand the situation. But if you're married and you engage in an inappropriate relationship, why would you do that? You married. And see, everybody always say, well, "Why would you do that? Why would you do that?" Well, if you thought you was gonna get caught, if you thought something was gonna go wrong, you wouldn't do it.
Right.
The same reason you speed. If you thought you was gonna get caught, you think you would speed? No. Unless you're a kleptomaniac, you're not gonna steal. Klepto just can't help it. But some people don't. You don't shoplift. You don't steal stuff, and you think you'll get caught.
Here, I'll say this. Uncle Shay Shay trying to move the goal line. All right. He try to say, well, you married. I'm Uncle Shay Shay. I'm not married, but you in the same tree. You in more hot water than him. You had to pay more, I would say, as far as money. Uncle Shay Shay said, like, you married. Why would you be doing this and you married? Uncle Shay Shay, you single. How in the hell it happened to you? So I would say nobody's safe, according to what we're seeing.
Yeah, I don't like the way you tried to do that. That didn't go over the way you thought. He said, me not so bad. See, I was at least single out here chasing avalanches. Him married, him worse. I can't stand this part of social media. Chill, Unc. You should never chimed in on this, but I don't know. I guess that's how social media work. Any type of clout is good clout.
Yeah, I think both are equally guilty as far as bringing Shannon into this equation. I mean, it's very similar situations. The only thing was that he's single, and then he didn't have any protections. He didn't have the chick sign an NDA or anything. So, and with this chick or whatever. So the whole thing about it, I don't feel sorry for any of these men at all. Tighten the F up and figure your situation out and handle your business, because moving around like this and getting with these people, you know, like with the women that will kind of bring you down in your situation, like why even do it? But if you're going to move around like this, hey, be my guest, do it. But at the end of the day, you should have thought about it, and you should have did better. And that's just the whole thing. But have at it, you know. We're staying out of it. I don't know.
That's why a lot of people, most robberies happen at night. You got the veil of darkness because I don't want to get caught. I don't want to be seen. The same thing while you creep. Most times, when the creeping take place at night. Boy, college professor told me, say the night has 1,000 eyes. And on most nights it has 1,002 because somebody sees you.
Oh, yeah, I'm writing that down, but that's a good one there, boy.
Uncle Shay Shay, stop. You stop it. You're starting to sound like Kundra, where y'all talk about, you said my college professor told you something, but yeah, here you are at damn near 60, still doing dumb stuff. So you clearly didn't listen to your college professor. And Kendra does the same stuff, talk about, oh yeah, they told me this back then, but y'all be making the same mistakes in y'all old ages. All right, yeah, my college professor told me, and I've been listening to him. That's why I ain't made no mistakes, because I listened. No, you didn't listen.
I don't even know how to say this. I ain't got no malice towards Uncle Shay Shay, but I can't stand some stuff he say, and he think he be being deep. It gets on my nerves. Yeah, because my professor say the night got 1,000 eyes, and sometimes got 1,002 because it's watching you. What? 1,000 eyes in the night ain't enough. Got to have extra 2 pair, huh? Whatever. Go off though, and then Goofy.
I would say let's say that's true. You ain't living your life like there's 1,000 eyes watching. Well, I'm saying, so why even say that?
Because they can't see you when you're in the mansion. Ebony D.
Wicked. What you got, Raquel? That was kind of wicked for him to say.
Nothing. It's just, yeah, it's, you know, everybody says one thing and does another these days. You know, people, they say the right things, but they don't live their life by them. You know, it's always like their situation is the most special situation. You know, it was different for me because I thought, you know, everything was going to work out perfectly. Like, no. And when you were promising $25,000 per cheek to the Becky you were laid up with, where were all those eyes? You see how it's different for him? The eyes weren't watching him, you know. You know, Bonquisha, you know, her baby daddy, he was the real loser out of all the losers. You know, that's why it didn't work out for her in her situation. It's the same thing with Shannon Sharpe and this guy here. You know, it's zero accountability. Instead of just saying, you know, hey, bruh, it's not worth risking your life, you know, and like, be the leader the man needs now, you know, since you just went through this 6 months ago. Instead of stepping into the leadership role and giving like some real life advice he touts some old wives' tale or proverb from the 1903s. Why don't you just tell this man, hey, it's gonna be hard, these people gonna drag you, it's not worth losing your life, it's not worth taking yourself away from your family or going to jail for. You want to reach out to somebody, you want to talk, call me. That we all could have respected that. But when you get up here and you grandstand and you talk about these 1,000 eyeballs in the middle of the night watching you, God is watching you always, whether it's light or dark outside. So that should be your conviction. That should be your bar. So he's the wrong person to be sending this message. And Ocho, I wish you would grow the fuck up. You are a grown man, Ocho. Sitting up here writing down this stupid hogwash that this man said. Why does Ocho feel like is it because like me and HQ, I would let HQ say certain things up here and I wouldn't really go against her because she was my elder and I was trying to respect her? Is that what this is? Because it always seems like he's the little Charlie Brown in the situation with
He's a
Shannon.
hype man. He's
I'm gonna say that. Yeah, more like a
It's
Flavor Flav.
annoying. Be
Yeah.
a man. Be your own man. You don't. You're in business with this man. You can have your own opinions and not have to constantly co-sign everything he said. Oh, I'm gonna write this down. Oh, I'm gonna put that in my notes section in my phone. Oh, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my back. Like, come on, Ocho. Dang, it's like the lameness, it spills over onto everyone. You know what I mean? It's annoying. Sorry, y'all. I just had to say that about Ocho.
God, Ocho,
Yeah.
Carl had to eat that.
There you go.
Damn.
Say the night has 1,000 eyes.
On most night, they have 1,002 because somebody sees you.
Well, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to use that in conversation.
And then the other report that came out that he was arrested and things that, some things escalated.
Babe, I blew it. I know. But if you keep this just between us, I'll fix it. I'll beat Ohio State. I swear I'll live in that film room till I do. Just don't tell anybody about us. Please.
Oh my God. Shout out to Sora. AI is completely undefeated.
Babe, I blew it. I know. But if you keep this just between us, I'll fix it. I'll beat Ohio State. I swear I'll live in that film room.
So they acting like this her Ring camera. And this is diabolical. Y'all got to be stopped.
So this is where Uncle Shay Shay's supposed to step up and be like, I know what they doing to you. I know you about 50, 11 memes right now, brother. And
Right. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Walker. Why not say, hey, bruh, I know they dragging you right now. Reach out to me if you need some kind of crisis management. You already got things to your throat,
I'll tell you why. Because it ain't that kind of time. You heard him. Uncle Shay Shay, like, this is a time to get so much negative light off of me. I was single, him married. He ain't trying to sit here and aid him in this terrible journey he got to have. He like, no, he gonna sit back and watch it. Like, yeah, look at him. Look at him. He's a cheater. He got to pay. He lost his job. He's worse than me. I'm sorry, not sorry, but that's what kind of time he on. He ain't trying to help.
And his snow bunnies too. He's like, yeah, he was playing in the snow, but he was married though. Oh, that's foul.
And that's how the internet works. Okay. Is this actually does take that light? Now people already halfway forgot about Shay Shay and that madness, but now got another target. Head coach from Michigan, Shay Shay, old news. Sharon Moore, we own you.
Yeah, or maybe even and Shannon's just like, you got to hold your own nuts, because I did. Like, I had to figure this out. Maybe he doesn't want to extend a hand. Everybody doesn't have to reach out and touch you and try to help, like, especially when you're moving around like this. But the Ring camera thing is funny, and this may not be the exact footage, but he went over there tripping like that. So it's unfortunate, but hey, like you got to figure it out. And I do feel bad about him saying that he wanted to delete himself, but you need to get yourself up out of this situation. You put yourself in it, you got to figure it out.
You see that post-glaze clarity, fellas, I guarantee you The first time, you know what I'm saying, he knocked them tender cheeks. And as soon as it was over, he was like, wow, I'm in it now. It's over. She instantly got that leverage, and you see it. Supposedly, she handed her all the receipts of their Red Roof Inn meetings and all of they, text messages. It's over, man. We got to learn from these examples. We got too many cousins, too many family for that we know kind of fell victim to this, fell victim to coup d'etat. Gotta do better.
Here we go. Hit the like button.
I know, but if you keep this just between us, I'll fix it. I'll beat Ohio State. I swear I'll live in that film room till I do. Just don't tell anybody about us, please.
You're a dumbass. Oh. Like, you can't be that damn stupid, man. Like, I don't feel sorry for him. You a dummy. Oh. You got a wife and you got kids, and you care about messing with somebody else over your family. How dumb can you be? And then you get caught, and you want people to show empathy towards what you got going on. Don't do what you did. Oh. Get her pregnant, have an abortion. I'm gonna double her salary. Like I don't have sympathy for dumb shit. Oh. Like, you're an adult, and this is what you chose to do. You're not sorry about what happened. You're sorry you got caught. And then now you want to garner sympathy. Oh, I'm going to do this to you, and I'm going to do this to myself. No, you not.
We now know exactly why the Michigan head coach's assistant snitched on him. There are some crazy new details in this case. So this apparently all started because everyone on that campus knew about the relationship between Sherrone Moore and his assistant, Paige Shiver. They reportedly made it very obvious. So rumors started to spread like crazy, so much so that they got to the ears of the athletic director, Ward Manuel. Manuel then personally questioned Moore and Shiver about their relationship and challenged anyone who brings up these rumors to bring proof next time so that he could fire Moore on the spot. But the rumors got so bad that Moore was advised by the staff not to work directly with Shiver and given the option to either transfer her to another job in the football program or athletic department or fire her. And he chose to fire her. But right after doing that, Shiver went straight to Manuel and said, look, I have the proof that you've been looking for. And with that, Manuel fires Moore instead, and that's when Moore drives directly to Shiver's apartment and threatens to take her life. Moore is expected to appear in court for his arraignment today, but let me know what you guys think about it.
I mean, he's just a fool. So there you go. Everybody knew what was going on. They said, you need to move her to put her in the equipment room or something. He said, no, I'm about to fire her. I think that's better. Let's just get her out. And then she went to the athletic director. All right. Yeah, you been asking? Yeah, I got text messages, all that. We hunching. And then they said, all right, now he fired. And he drove to her house and said, how dare you snitch on me? They say he was grabbing butter knives out the thing. They say he had butter knives ready to end it. You know, not funny, but that's what they said.
It's not, but butter knives. What you doing? Relax. It's how I find it. You know, a dark but comical, this a grown man. He has got the wisdom, the courage, the ambition to rise to a head coach of a D1 program, making millions. He became a millionaire due to his skills. And you fell victim to a young woman. Like, that's embarrassing. And then you crash it. You don't sit there and say, you know what? I'm gonna take accountability. You know what? I fell victim to my lower nature. The cheeks was cheeking. You said, nope, I'm gonna look for sympathy now. I'm gonna claim to hurt myself, hurt the people involved. He could not have handled this any worse.
And as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
As we all now know, defendant was at some point on Wednesday afternoon fired from his employment. He then, at some point soon thereafter, came to her apartment in the address that is alleged in the complaint, barged his way into that apartment, immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. And a series of very, very threatening, intimidating, terrifying, quite frankly, statements and behaviors there in that apartment. It was only then, Your Honor, when the victim, she called her attorney and then at some point indicated she was going to call the police, and then he left. And so, Your Honor, while
Look at him. He looks pathetic sitting there. I mean, everything come crashing down. You making millions of dollars. Now you sitting here on deletion watch and all this stuff. And like you say, he went in there like, oh, he trying to delete himself, try to make her feel guilty. Like she was going to pick up the phone and call the school and say, hey, I was lying. That was a joke. Give him his job back. We was just, I mean, come on, brother.
Desired outcome. That's why I say it's comical. What was your desired outcome? That, or was she gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna get $1 million of my daddy's money. We can run away and go to Mexico and live off the land. Well, how is this supposed to get better with your antics? What shout out to Project Leroy said this was 2 hours after you got fired. 2 hours. You went from being within 3 hours, you went from being a head coach of Michigan, making millions, family, everything going on, to in the Hooskow when it's all gone. You understand the anxiety he got here? He don't know what's going on with his wife. He ain't really got a clue, but he know it ain't good. He don't know, is she gonna stay and torture him or divorce him and torture him? It's a toss up.
Yeah, and you guys, like we said, he's crashing all the way out, how he pulled up to the house and he's got butter knives and lemon juice. Like, what was the game plan? There was no game plan. You're just going over there acting a damn fool. Like, that's when I said, like, tighten up. Like, you got to have your stuff together. You got to have your ish in order with your family, with your profession, and all that. You can't be moving around like this. And when you do make it to some of those top spots and whatever, you need to remember that at any time it could all come down. So you need to make sure that you're walking the straight and narrow, especially when you're dealing and with people who are in control of your money, and make sure that you're living right and everything. Kind of like how now Dion doesn't need the money, but Dion knows these people. He knows how they act and knows that everything needs to be tight when dealing with them because he knows how they operate. So move around better and you can have way better outcomes. But lesson learned, this ain't it, but you got to figure it out. You got to hold your own nuts.
Hey, my man showed up like Edward Scissorhands. He said, you did this to me.
Well, I understand that there isn't evidence to suggest that he directly threatened.
Mr. Moore, could you state your name, please?
Sherrone Moore.
Sir, you are not to use alcohol, marijuana, or any other controlled substance that is not prescribed to you. You are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You are not to engage in criminal conduct of any kind whatsoever. You may not leave the state of Michigan without permission of the court. Prior to your release, you will be placed on a GPS tether. The named victim in this case will not be placed on the record. You may not have contact with that individual. Are we understood on the no contact and no go-to, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Bond will be set in the amount of $25,000 cash surety, as requested by the prosecution's office. This court does not determine innocence or guilt. This court determines flight risk and community safety. The court finds with these conditions in place, it has been met.
Well, there you go, which ain't much, a low bond. It's not so much of a criminal issue. It's just, humiliation. You're losing your job. You're losing millions of dollars. You're losing your family, your kids. It's, he ain't really facing no jail time. It's not a real criminal thing. All right, it's $25,000 bond. We're going to let you out. We're going to put you on this monitor, whatever, just so we know you stay away from her. They worry about you doing something, these are your conditions. Can't have a firearm or a knife. You can't even drink alcohol. So if we just show up to your house randomly with your PO and you got, we test you, draw blood, and you got alcohol, you're going to jail. That's against the terms. So now you're going to stay in here until the trial or whatever's over, get more charges.
That's Go ahead, Ebony.
Oh, I was just going to say, and also because they don't want him to flee back to where his family's from or whatever, because that's an easy cop out too, is he can just get on a plane and go back to Trinidad and Tobago and act like nothing ever happened. So that's another thing too. So
that's tough not to be able to bury your sorrows in a bottle of Jack Daniels like he want to do. I know he got to go through this sober. That is even more fortunate. He never had to be here though. even with all the stuff he did on campus, getting fired, it never had to lead to jail time. He see what I'm saying? He brought this upon himself. He should just went home, get scolded by his wife, cry, be a little punk, and just deal with it as it came crashing down. But jail, sentencing, ankle monitors. You see how he made it so much worse for himself. Now that woman, that young woman got parents. She must have got a father and a mom who don't like you so much because of what you just did. It's just all bad, man.
And I would say he was just coming into the real money. That's where he's sitting back like he really lost everything. Like he's been an assistant all these years, working, making regular money, 50, whatever, less than 100,000. He wasn't making a lot of money, raising a family, moving all around. Then you finally get the job where they gave him a 5-year contract. So 5 years, 30 million. He just signed it. And now you couldn't even cash in on it. And it's over. So you back to square one. After all this, you ain't got no money, nothing. Your wife gonna take whatever you got. It's over.
Listen, I
He's
don't
somewhere coaching Pop Warner or something. Working at Amazon. You be delivering your packages.
I don't believe God is that cruel. I believe that, what's the saying? To those that much is given, much is required. This man worked all his time to get to this point, and he came to a coup d'etat in the road, if you will. And all he had to do was say, you know what? I identify how much I've been blessed, how fortunate I am. I'm going to not succumb to my lower nature. That's all this was. And he did. And he got snatched away just as quick. I think that's just we advocate for men now, especially melanated men. But that sounds like just karma.
And one thing I will say, football is a brotherhood. So I don't think he will ever get another head coaching position, but he will coach again. He's, that's one thing about these guys, like the hardballs and them. They'll bring him on. He'll be the special teams core. They'll bury him somewhere, make sure he get a check. And they do take care of each other. So it ain't over for him, but he'll never head coach, especially, above high school ever again.
And there will be slight conflict. Like he always know who he is. Like Mr. X said, somebody will help him out, but also keep him under their thumb. X, yeah, he might end up at some D2 school. There you go. It could happen.
Yeah, or he can just coach for the little league and deal with the little league moms and stuff, because that's how you were acting. You were acting like, that type. So just do the little leagues. He can bounce back from this, you guys. Like he's going to have to figure it out. He'll probably come out with an apology statement or whatever. But at the end of the day, men, just move around way better and way tighter than this, because this ain't it. You don't want to end up, he lost his both coup d'etats, money, job, everything, family's gone. It's all bad. So yeah, you don't want to be out here like this. So it's unfortunate, but you got to figure it out.
And it's all
people
gone.
like this, they end up homeless, on drugs and stuff. I don't wish that on him, but you'll see people like this 20 years from now. They're like, that was the coach from Michigan. It all fell apart. He'd be on Skid Row somewhere. This stuff happens all the time.
He went from a millionaire to he's most likely essentially homeless. If his wife is divorcing him, she about to he ain't even got a lot of bread though. See, he ain't even. This is just terrible. I'm sorry, I don't see a silver lining unless he just turns extremely stoic, because he already talking about self-deleting. See, there's too much pressure on his spirit. He already weak, respectfully.
So where is he getting released to? Is he getting released to the house that he has with his wife, or the red roof? Like, where does he live now?
And they asked his lawyer that
Okay.
I don't think I have the video handy, but they asked his lawyer that was walking out the courthouse, and he didn't answer. They said, where is he going? Is he going back to their marital home or what? And he said, I ain't going to answer that at this time, but that's a good question.
Okay.
See, that's most likely not. Yeah, I can imagine that his wife got a whole nother thing. She didn't found out you done went to her house and no, it's over. She not letting him back in that house. And she got the roof.
So we think. I don't know. Maybe she
true. So we
knew and don't care.
I wouldn't be there. You can come home because I'm not gonna be there.
Fuck is you talking about?
This is Sparta!
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to hide. You gotta count your blessings. You're sitting at the table. You hear me? Ooh, child, things will get brighter.